Hello, I'm back. How are you all? So, today I'm going to talk about one more new work that I created a month back, and this artwork took me about 2 weeks. And I think it has to be one of the most intense drawings that I've made. So, before we get into it, I would like to talk about the new work. So, this drawing is about an avatar of Shiva called Pasupati. And Pasupati is the god of forest, the god of beasts, the god of animals and jungle. And he is an avatar of Shiva who binds all the Jiva, and Jiva means life. And in this work, I've pointed out many aspects of Shiva, not just Pashupati, and some of them are about him being a great master of yoga, a yogi, being a great guru, and having destructive qualities, which is necessary for the next life cycle to come for to pave way for new creation. So, first thing first, this is Pashupati meditating. You can see that he has a very calm look on his face, and personally, it looks like he's exhaling or he's inhaling deeply, but somehow I feel like he's exhaling deeply. So, he's in a meditative pose. And then coming to his hair, which some of the dreadlocks are appearing as tree branches and roots, as you can see here, because this is an avatar in the form of Pashupati, so I wanted to incorporate some of the elements of jungle in his body itself. And so I've made some of the matted hair look like dreadlocks, as tree branches. And then we have one more that looks like an elephant trunk. And then some are just like dreadlocks, matted hair. Next, we have waterfall flowing from his head, and this is Ganga. Now, Ganga has been personified as a female, and in many images of Shiva, you can see the river Ganga flowing from his hair. So, it is a story of Shiva controlling the flow of Ganga to stop the floods, if I'm not wrong. And so he ties a little bit into his hair so it doesn't flood the land. So that's the Ganga as waterfall. And this little gold thing you see here, that is the Ganga Aarti Diya. So if you go to Varanasi, every evening they perform Ganga Aarti, which is an act of worshipping the river Ganga. And they hold this Deepa or Diya, which is a very big one. It's such a beautiful thing to watch. Now, I've never been to that place. I've only seen it on videos and pictures online. And it seems like a very grand event. And Shiva has this in his dreadlock, in his hair, because he reveres her, the Ganga. He worships her, and this is not something you would see normally in the images or the sculptures of Shiva. This is just my creativity. Then we have Hanuman. Now, some say Hanuman is an avatar of Shiva, and I believe he was an ardent devotee of Shiva, other than Rama, of course. And also because Hanuman is or was the king of Vanars, the forest people clan, and so that's the reason I have included him. Then we have one eagle and one swan. Now, these two birds are considered vahanas of Vishnu and Brahma. So, eagle or Garuda is the vahana of Vishnu, and swan is the vahana of Brahma. Now, vahana means vehicle, a, a being that gods ride on, to simplify it. And I often use eagle and these birds in some of my drawings to symbolize the two deities. Now, coming to the moon on his head. Now, in most of the images of Shiva, you would see a crescent moon resting on his head. But here I have actually drawn a full moon. Half of it is dark. And the reason why he wears the crescent moon on his head is so that some say it's because it cools down his body, and some say it's because there's a lot of stories around this. But what I believe is that moon represents our mind, our emotion. It is also the divine feminine. And Shiva wears it on his head because he has conquered his mind, his emotions. So he has mastered his mind. So that's why I've drawn it like that. Being a great yogi, it definitely shows that he has immense power because he has conquered his mind. And also the waxing and waning of the moon signifies the passing of time. And Shiva has mastered time. He is limitless, he is timeless. He is beyond time, the concept of time. He has no beginning and end. So, hence the symbolism. Then we have the planet Jupiter here. Now, Jupiter or Guru is a planet that signifies Jiva. It is the Jiva Karaka in astrology. And Jupiter is a guru to the gods. It symbolizes spiritual knowledge, higher knowledge, any knowledge that is advanced. And Shiva is somewhat like a guru. He also has immense spiritual knowledge, and he bestows it upon those who are his ardent devotees, those who are into yoga and all the spiritual practices. So in a way, Shiva is also a guru, and Pasupati is one who binds all the jiva, the one who binds all the life together. So that's the comparison I'm making, and it is this Jupiter is at his heart. And where would you point out Jiva in your body? It has to be the heart. So that's the significance of this. Then we have the famous Vasuki called around his neck or the shoulders. Now, the story about Vasuki is that this cosmic snake or the Naga was used to churn the Amrita or the nectar of immortality during the Samudra Manthan, when the gods and asuras churned the cosmic ocean using the mountain and Vasuki as a rope to churn the ocean. And Vasuki was awarded or rewarded a place on Shiva due to his contribution. There's also other stories that talked about how he got that place around Shiva's neck. But the symbolism is that snakes signify sensual desires and everything related to the senses. And being called around Shiva's neck symbolizes that Shiva has also conquered his senses, his sensual desires. Now, my favorite part has to be this cat that is sleeping on his eyebrow. Very typical of cats. Then we have Saturn in the distant, in a small corner. Now, Saturn is a judge. He judges people based on their karmas, and he punishes or rewards them based on their karmas. And Saturn is also said to have destructive qualities. Now, again, this is something that I find similar to Shiva. Shiva also is somebody who judges, who is very particular about karma, and he is the one who bestowed Shani the responsibility of passing judgments, hence the connection. And Shiva is also said to have destructive qualities in the sense he destroys so that life can be created again. New life can be created again. When there is too much adharma or too much evil or too much of bad things going on, he destroys. And a new cycle of goodwill begins. And this is Nandi, the holy bull who is always with Shiva. And they say if you whisper your prayers or your desires in Nandi's ears, it reaches Shiva through him. So that's why you will see the statue of Nandi in front of every Shivalingam at a temple, at a Shiva temple. Now, coming to the composition part, at first I did not think about including Vasuki coiled around the shoulders. I only wanted to focus on the part of Pasupati. And when you look at it, the composition is, the movement is like this. It was like this, just restricted to this part, with all these dreadlocks guiding your eye to the face, and then the moon. And then I thought about it, I gave it a lot of thought, and after a lot of contemplation, I decided to draw Vasuki. And once I did, it made more sense in terms of composition and rhythm. Now the attention goes like this. There's that bird, moon, and there's a circle. It comes about a circle, and then you see the Vasuki, the head of Vasuki, and its gaze leads you right back to the main figure. So now the composition is like this. It goes a full circle. And I'm glad I decided to draw Vasuki because it just gave more space to move around in the composition and also fill up the empty space in a meaningful way. And that's about this work. And yes, my earring fell off. Now, if you've noticed, I have included a little bit about astrology into this work, and I've been reading about astrology, how it works, the significance of the planets and the signs, just the basics. And ever since I started learning about it, it has changed my outlook on life, and it has changed my understanding about so many things. And I realized that it contains a wealth of knowledge, and of course, I'm not trying to make you believe into it. I'm not trying to, say that you should believe in it. It's just my experience, and the things that I've learned through astrology has made so much sense, and it has impacted me in how I make art. And I think I'm going to incorporate more significations of things from astrology into my work. I think that will make my works more interesting and much more deeper in concept. So that's about it for today. My next new work could take a lot longer and I won't see you for about a month or so, but I am working on some self-portraits which you might see. So let's see what I've got in store for the rest of the year. Only 3 more months to go, and I will be making a video on what all happened. There are so many things that happened that I have not shared, and I would like to talk about it by the end of the year. So let's see what's in the store then. Bye bye.